Hey everybody, welcome to our webinar entitled the B2B SEO Paradox. We've posted some content recently about some of the findings that we've seen anecdotally, but we've done a pretty deep dive into about 20 different B2B websites across many different industries, lots of different size companies from mid-market all the way up through enterprise. And we've found some what we consider to be very, very interesting data. Um, I'm here with Jason McDaniel, also from the ABM agency. So I'm Vincent DeCastro, president and founder at the ABM agency. I've got about 22 years of search marketing experience, paid search and SEO combined. I've been involved in search marketing since really the beginning of Google figuring out how to monetize traffic to its search engine. I've seen many, many Google updates come and go. A lot of them, they had predicted the end of SEO, quote unquote, in the traditional sense. This is different. And so we feel like it's pretty impactful and warrants a lot of fact checking information and diving into the data. Jason, you want to give a quick overview of your background?
Absolutely. Hey, everyone. I'm Jason McDaniel. I head up analytics here at the ABM agency, and I've been working in search and SEO for 12 years now. My focus on the organic side it really pertains to understanding how these algorithms have changed the search engine landscape, and also understanding the analytics that come as a result of that, and any sort of technical SEO optimizations that we do on our end to help our clients out in terms of better indexing for Google. So super excited to have this conversation because, as Vincent alluded to, there's been a very, very massive shift with the rise of AI, specifically in search engines, and how Google has reoriented their SERP.
Yeah, I use the term seismic, and I don't feel like that's hyperbole at all. You want to go ahead and jump into the deck, Jason?
Absolutely.
Awesome. So this has been pretty widely publicized. Gartner's predicting that search engine traffic, organic traffic specifically, will decline by 25% by the year 2026 due to AI chatbots and other virtual agents. And the add-on to that is that they're predicting a 50% decline in organic traffic by 2028. I've got news for you. I think that's actually pretty conservative based on what we're seeing. So we're going to go ahead and jump into the data here and talk a little bit more about what the statistics and analytics actually show us.
Yeah, so as Vincent said, it's we're already there. We're already at Gartner's benchmark, and if not, it's even worse than what Gartner was initially predicting for 2026. Uh, and we're just in the middle of 2025 as of this recording. So we've taken the SEO results for the past 3 months across 20 different properties that are in a variety of different spaces, including supply chain and SaaS, manufacturing, cybersecurity, even including some B2C oriented sites that we have access to. And we've taken a look at their footprint as it stands of March through June 2025 and compared it to 2024. And while we've seen really dramatic increases in page rank and dramatic increases in terms of search volume from an impression perspective, so page rank has improved by 25% across all these properties. Impressions have close to doubled. We're seeing just dramatic downshifts from a CTR perspective. So they are still searching, there's still search volume, but they are not clicking on the organic listings. And all logic would dictate that if page rank goes up, so does, the visibility of your search result listing for the user who's actually searching. But despite page rank going up and despite search volume going up, we're seeing that downshift in CTR, which at the tail end of the funnel of the account-based marketing funnel, which we use internally for all traffic sources, including search, we're seeing conversions go down, which is, this is a huge shift, and it's not great. Vincent, do you have anything
Yeah.
else you want to talk through here?
Yeah. I mean, I would say going off of a cliff is a good way to analyze the conversion data. I mean, 43% down in conversions is absolutely massive. And I think the first thing to mention here, number one, is looking at the search volume, people are still using Google. That's reality, right? It isn't like Perplexity, ChatGPT, Claude, et cetera, are taking away search from Google. That is not what's happening at all, folks. The reality is that people are using Google probably more than they ever have before. What's changing is that they're not clicking through to your websites. And that's massive, right? Because, we have for a very long time as B2B marketers, we have probably gotten entirely too used to what Google sends for free. And that's the organic traffic. And I say free because, you do the work on SEO to get visibility on Google to rank well, and that traffic just comes to you and it converts. That's reality. But that reality is shifting and changing very, very dramatically, and that's going to have massive impact on every B2B organization and how they grow and how they get leads and how they're able to create and generate more revenue and pipeline. So let's talk through a little bit more of an analysis of what the SERPs of the search engine results page looks like. We'll start with a little bit more about usage. So Jason, do you want to maybe chat through what you're seeing here?
Yeah, so the question that I think a lot of people are asking it is, are these AI chat engines taking away from search share? And the answer is yes, dramatically. People are searching in new, different ways. But as of right now, in terms of the actual structure of volume and sessions that are going to your site from organic, traditional search is still outweighing what we're seeing from AI. AI has made incredible inroads on the search side. So looking at this stat here, we're seeing close to 6% of all traffic from organic coming in from AI chatbots, including Chat GPT and Perplexity and some of the other more niche ones. And that being said, we're even seeing Chat GPT outrank or drive more organic traffic than even Bing is, which Bing has been number two for a long, long time now, and now it's been usurped in that second position. The fact that we've already seen such dramatic inroads from these AI engines is amazing. They're already at 6%. We're predicting that they're going to just year over year can eat up more of this share. But the other thing to consider here is that the way that people use AI search, a lot of it is zero click, as Vincent's been alluding to. So this isn't even indicative of all the search that's happening through these AI engines. This is only indicative of the people who search via those engines and then ultimately use one of the links that is pulled up by the AI to go to your web property. So a very small share of what is probably a huge amount of people who have basically changed the way that they look for information. Vincent, anything you want to talk to on this slide?
Yeah, I think what makes sense from the data is that you look at impressions on Google growing by almost 100%. And I think that most folks would agree that's probably likely due to Gemini and the AI suggests. And so if you take that logic and then you extend it into Chat GPT, Perplexity, Claude, et cetera, to your point, Jason, I think that this data, which is sessions to your website, is just the tip of the iceberg. It doesn't show the full story because a lot of the usage is going on the properties and it's never coming to your site. So it brings up some really interesting challenges for marketers in terms of how do you, of course, handle attribution. And so we'll talk a little bit about that here in just a minute. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide, Jason.
Perfect. So now we're looking at an example of just the SERP itself. So we've approached this presentation with the theory, or not the theory, but the data showing us that CTR has dramatically fallen despite all of the increase of page rank and the increase of impressions. We're receiving less clicks for more impressions. And the reality of it is that if you look at most searches, and in this case, we have a screenshot of just a quick ABM agencies, because that's who we are. We're very familiar with these terms. We see that the real estate of what's being eaten up by the AI chat snippet, and not just that, but the page search listings have changed as well. The first organic listing can be as far down the page as 30 to 50%. It could be behind up to 6 sponsored content posts. And there's a real old school stat surrounding clicks of that first listing. I think it's around 30% of users are clicking on position number one when they search something. So what happens to position number one when you move it 7 spots down the page? You're basically position one is now, it's almost treated like top of page two. There's been a dramatic shift in terms of how Google has restructured these SERPs, especially with the prioritization of the paid search and the length of which these AI snippets can go to. And the results are telling. There's a reason why CTR has reduced so dramatically. So we're showing it right now at down 51%. In some isolated instances, we've seen it down 75%. There's been a huge seismic shift, like Vincent was saying, in the way that this information has been presented by Google. Vincent, anything you want to touch on here?
Yeah, I think, top of mind for me is, is this just a change in user behavior? I think that's probably what a lot of folks are thinking at this moment. And in reality, what it looks like to us is that Google is driving that behavior. And I don't even think that's anecdotal, to be perfectly direct. I believe, and this is, based on 20 years of search marketing experience, that Google is driving this behavior to be able to preemptively be more competitive with ChatGPT, Perplexity, et cetera. But they're in it for the money. 80% of the revenue that Google or Alphabet makes comes from advertising on Google, YouTube, et cetera. And so this is absolutely benefiting Google in terms of Google Ads. We'll take a look at a SERP in just a second, but the reality is that paid search is going to benefit significantly. It's going to drive a lot more competition. It's going to raise CPCs to uncharted territory, um, prices that we've never seen before. And that includes brand. One of the things that we didn't really get into very heavily is the difference between the types of search. From our perspective, at a high level, there's really two different types of searches that users are going to engage in. Number one is going to be brand. That means they're looking for you by name. They know who you are. They're familiar with you. They're typing that name directly into Google. They're finding you the first organic listing, or sometimes, also two, three, four, maybe the whole page, and they're going to your site. The other type of search is the one that's really mostly being impacted, which is what we call discovery or commercial searches. That means they don't have a brand in mind. They're looking for a vendor to solve whatever challenge. It might be a product or a service that you have. And those are the ones that are being majorly impacted. Those are the ones that are going to, I think, really move towards paid search. We're already seeing that. That's going to raise the competition. That's going to raise the CPCs. But I just read an article today where they're saying that they're seeing CPCs for brand increasing up to 34%, which is massive. And I think that's a trend that's just going to continue to grow. So let's jump to the next slide and look at what happens on paid search.
So the question, did people stop using Google? I think we've stated multiple times, search volume actually being up. No, they have not stopped using Google. If anything, search is up year over year, stronger than ever. But what we've been talking about in terms of the last slide is that the way that Google's structure of the SERPs has changed super dramatically. So I just have a quick screenshot of a simple query like warehouse management software, which is a very competitive term for the paid arena. But traditionally, what we saw was only one or two SERPs ahead of the first organic listing. Now we get from 3 to 6 paid search listings, top of the page, driving everything down. And take a look at this first one, position one for paid search. Look at these site link extensions. Look how much space this is taking up. This is an incredibly expensive term. And the fact that Google is allowing on such a competitive, expensive term, the first search listing to occupy what is nearly 50% of this opening page one screenshot of pre-scroll. It's massive. And what it does is it incentivizes us as search engine marketers to pay more because we need to get to position one. It's not position two and three, they're not as valuable as they once were because position one is gobbling up all of the real estate. And you go back to that stat, that old stat, 30% of people who are searching are clicking on the first listing. That's in the old days. That's when the first position is only taken up the same as most of the other positions. If we see this, how many people are actually going to be going down to these other ones? I mean, there's got to be a shift in terms of user behavior here. They're going to be clicking on this first one. It's just what's incentivized. And then after you get through these paid search listings, which again could be six of them, there's a huge block for AI snippets, and it kind of serves as a divide. If I'm a user, I get through what I traditionally assume is Google search, and then I see the AI snippet. I'm like, okay, I'm done. End of page. Not even going to any of the organic listings. So it's a big change. It's a big change recently. To Vincent's point, CPCs are through the roof. I think a lot of search engine marketers are seeing it. They're seeing that they have to be more competitive on this arena because organic is not driving nearly what it used to. And this is our option. We have to be competitive on the paid side now, more competitive than we were, especially on these discovery related terms, which are traditionally the ones that are going to drive that mid to low funnel business activity. Vincent, anything? I know that you have a strong opinion of this. You want to jump in and double click?
Yeah, it's very clear, and the site links, as you mentioned, Jason, are massively bigger than they ever have been before, and the only time they show up is when you're in position one. So to Jason's point, it really incentivizes you to bid very, very competitively. That's just going to drive up CPCs. I mean, the organizations that are the second and third sponsored links, they're going to have to now raise their max CPC bid. As most people know, hopefully know by now, that Google Ads is an open auction environment, driven predominantly by what the advertisers are willing to spend on an individual keyword search. Now, there is nuance involved there in terms of quality score, et cetera. But the reality is that if the advertiser in position two is willing to spend $100 per click, then the advertiser in position one has to be willing to spend more than that. Now, quality score enters into the equation so that if the advertiser in position one historically has a better CTR, then Google will put them there and they can actually spend less than the second advertiser's max bid. But the reality is that the competition is going to drive CPCs sky high for that position one. You're going to have to be there. That real estate is going to be massively important for organizations that are looking to drive new business leads. And let's face it, who isn't trying to drive new business leads in this environment? Let's go to the next slide and let's chat a little bit more about what else we
One
see.
one
And
thing one thing I'll add though before we wrap on this one is just the way that Google has transitioned search engine advertisers over the past couple of years. Every year it's more let us control the bids, let the AI optimize around it, and now a lot of these accounts are on autopilot and they're just competing with other bots, and the bots are seeing the results. If position one is the top of the mountain that's going to get you the highest conversion rate, then they're all going to bid for it and they're inflating the cost. So the floor has lifted dramatically for CPCs across most terms that I've seen. But moving on, so this secondary section or this last section, we're going to talk about the zero click search ecosystem, which is what we've been talking about before. So since people are not clicking directly through these AI searches, through things like Gemini and ChatGPT and Perplexity, how can we harness that, and how can we drive people's behavior so they're still interacting with our brand? So first thing, you want to focus on the content that you have for your individual personas. So the way that we structure all advertising here, and search is no different, is we leverage the ABM funnel. So where does a piece of content fit in terms of a user's journey through their research time? So nowadays, users are spending less time on sites researching and spending more time on these GPTs researching. So what you need to do is make sure that your content is being indexed by those GPTs. And how do you do that? You create content that's valuable. It's really similar to, the old school process of EAT. You want to have content that's relevant for the user who is searching, and you want to make sure that the AI chatbots can index it appropriately so that when people are searching through these chatbots through their awareness phase, they are getting your name as the authority within the space. The next piece that you want to do is make sure that the pages are clean. So the experience on the page is super important. People are getting the information right now served on a silver platter. It's super easy, and it's shifted the way that users are how their behaviors have changed. You need to make sure that the experience on your website is as easy to use as the experience that they're getting from the AI chatbots, which means that you need to make sure the information is readily available. You need to make sure that the UX of your web pages are easily navigatable, that they can get exactly what they want when they want it, and make sure what you're delivering to them is of high value. Vincent, do you want to jump in here too?
Yeah. So, there's one thing I think that we want to start with, which is they're all different. And so the ranking signals, quote unquote, which that's, kind of an old school SEO term, are very different for each of these, for traditional SEO, for Gemini, for Perplexity, for ChatGPT. What we see that is very interesting as B2B marketers is that using this kind of an ABM funnel approach to your content, which is more important than it's ever been, by the way, is a fundamental way to be able to help to influence all of these AI searches. There's other components like citations and mentions, because at the end of the day, this is really going to come down to brand mentions. That zero-click environment means that really what's happening is these AI search engines are surfacing the name of your business, not necessarily your website for people to click through. And so depending on how a user is using ChatGPT to find vendors and do comparisons, your brand hopefully gets mentioned. And so this really makes the environment and the job a lot more complex, quite frankly. But a lot of the same approaches to content are going to be extremely valuable. And that means looking at the funnel, starting with awareness, moving into consideration, validation, and evaluation content, which is what we've always done for SEO. And then adding in persona nuance to that messaging as well is going to be a surefire way to absolutely impact these AI search engines and really drive the ability for your brand to be found. Now, what we haven't even gotten into or scratched the surface of is what happens next. How are you able to kind of transition that visibility, the brand mentions, into having a discussion with a prospect, turning that into pipelining and turning it into revenue? That'll be in future versions of this type of webinar, but the approaches that we've taken that we've seen to be successful are absolutely incorporating an ABM funnel framework has been tremendously successful. Let's go ahead and hit the next slide, Jason. That's it. So I think, from my perspective, kind of wrapping everything up, we've seen in the data just massive shift in the way search marketing is going to have to be done. B2B marketing is massively impacted, and now it is really advisable to take a full ecosystem view, break down the silos, content, SEO, ABM, demand gen, lead gen, all of that stuff is going to have to function together to get maximum results, to really be able to influence these AI search engines to mention your brand as frequently as possible, and to be as visible as you can possibly be, because reality is that they're not clicking through to your website nearly as frequently as they have before. And so it's going to be super important for B2B marketers to accept this as the new normal, the new reality, and then start to devise their marketing plans from there, because what's at stake is revenue. This all comes back to conversions. Conversions are the lifeblood of organizations growing. Sales absolutely is critical, but let's face it, salespeople want leads. That's what they're always asking their marketing partners for, is leads. And we're seeing now one of the largest ways of getting leads ever, organic search from Google, is drying up and it's going away. And so marketers are going to really have to change their tactics. Jason, what kind of parting thoughts do you have for the folks that are watching the webinar?
It's simple. It's time to act.
Yeah, absolutely. So check out our website. You can call us, send me an email, um, send an email to sales@ABM Agency if you want to. Happy to have further conversations, but we'll be posting some pieces of this up on LinkedIn here in probably the next couple of hours, and sending this out to some of the folks that we've been working with as well. So thanks everyone for the time. Have a great rest of your week, and look forward to some more of these webinars in the very near future. Cool.